Lieutenant Matt Zander. I'm here to talk about search techniques, specifically body mechanics, as it relates to making entry into a building, recognizing conditions once you do that, your search positioning while moving through a building, and what it looks like when you locate a victim, and removal. As far as safety goes today, we are going to be working with a Halligan that obviously has a pike at the end, so be careful when swinging tools around. If anybody happens to get hurt during our training, we have ambulances located throughout the bay. Exits are all around us, so we should be pretty safe today. But specifically today, I want to talk about search. And at the end of this training, you should have good understanding of what your body mechanics will look like, as well as recognizing certain conditions as we're moving through the building. To start, obviously, as we're making entry into a building, we want to first do our light fire layout. So we're getting to the front of the building with a certain set of tools. When we come up, it's going to be dependent on whether we are going in ahead of the line or in a conjunction with our fire attack line. So today I'm going to simulate that we are first in for search, which means that we are going straight to the fire, okay, right? So we're going to the fire room, we're going to try to extinguish if we can, isolate, and then we're going to search back from there. So I have my water can, I have a Halligan. So we're going to move through the building with a Halligan because one, I might need to force entry on the front door, I might need to take windows as I go, and I also use it as a marker, so when I make entry into a room, I'll leave it at a door so I know when I come back to that door where I left off. And I also carry a tick. So whenever you're going in for search, somebody should have a tick on you. So when we first make entry, we force our door, we have our tools. I'm doing what's called a light fire layout. All right, so I'm going to dive in under the smoke. I'm going to start reading conditions. I'm going to spread out, and I'm going to do a call out as well. So it's fire department, anybody here? So you're going to hold your breath. You're going to listen for a response. And if nothing, we're going to back out. I'm going to do a quick scan with my tick. See what I have, see if I can see where fire conditions are, if I have any victims in the room, what I'm going into. I'm going to come back and relay that to my partner. So what I can tell initially from the door when I open it is what happens with that smoke. Do we start getting tunneling in? Do I have a neutral plane? Is the smoke to the floor, indicating where the fire is in that building? So from the exterior is what I'm seeing on the interior matching, right? If I am heading straight to the fire room, I want to make a beeline there. So we're not going left or we're not going right. Like this isn't a normal search pattern. We want to do a targeted search right to the fire. So in that instance, we're not working a wall. I'm going to have my can. I keep it between my leg. That way I'm not getting hung up on things. And I keep my Halligan down on the floor like this. So it gives me a handle and it allows me to move easily through the building. We call this the tripoding position. So one, keeps my weight back. So if there were a hole, stairs, whatever in my way, I'm set back. And it keeps my foot out front so I can find those obstacles before my weight reaches it. You can kind of sound the floor as you go. It also keeps you in an athletic stance so you can move faster through the building. It keeps my eyes up so I can monitor conditions above me. So if I start to crawl in with my head down, I have no idea what's going on above. And finally, it keeps my ears up. Right, so if there is a victim in here, I want to be able to hear them, right? So it gets muffled enough, but if I have my head down, I'm missing all of that. So it keeps my head up, it keeps me in good athletic posture, allows me to move through. So I can just tripod through the building pretty easily. So I get to my fire location, I have my water can, spray my water, isolate it. I am leaving the water can now, right? Like this just becomes a boat anchor. I don't want to carry this with me. So now I can tripod and move a lot easier as I'm coming through, all right? Moving through, if I find a door that I'm going into, say I have a door right here, my tool is getting left at the door, I'm going in, I'm closing the door to that room, I'm searching that room. If I need to come back because I need to vent that window, I have my tool nearby, but it doesn't hinder me now as I'm searching the room, okay? I make entry to my room. It's a good idea to do another light fire layout, right? So when I come into a new room, I get low, I'm spread out, I want to be under the smoke, I'm looking to see where my bed is. So if I'm targeting bedrooms, I want to find my bed, and that's the first place I want to start my search, right? So victims are most likely to be found in bed because there's a reason they didn't exit to begin with. So I'm targeting my bed, I'm trying to get there. If I can, isolate the room. I'm opening windows, and now I start my search. As I'm going around the room now, I personally like to stay somewhat on a wall. So if I'm doing a right-handed search, my foot's going to be up, and I'm working the middle of the room with my hands. So I'm coming around the room this way. If I'm doing the left, I'm going this way. My hands are always to the middle, because that's where my victims are going to be. I'm not going to find victims hanging out around the walls. That's typically where I have furniture, clothes, whatever. And I want to touch things with my hands. So we don't want the tool with us, because I don't need to be swinging this around and hitting stuff. I want to touch everything with my hands. And it's not going to be a patting motion, so if I find a bed, clothes, whatever, I'm sweeping with my hands so I can find differential in weight. If I find clothes, I'm picking them up and sifting through them, all right? So let's say I'm searching and I find a victim. Do you want to lay down for me, Troy? All right, so I find my victim, I'm searching along, I find the victim, right? So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to call out victim, 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 right? So that indicates to my partner I've yelled something out with 3, so whether he hears me or not, he knows that I've just said something that's pretty important. He's going to come back. His response should be, do you need help? Now, with Troy, I may or may not need help. That's going to be person dependent and how good you are at victim removal. I could probably move him by myself, so I may have my partner continue their search. When I find him, immediately what I'm going to do is search around him. We're more likely to find two people than we are one. So I want to make sure that he doesn't have a child or a loved one nearby. So I'm going to stay in contact with him, right? I'm not losing him. But I'm doing a quick sweep around. I'm hitting him in the head. All right. So I've cleared him to make sure there's no other victims, there's nobody underneath him. Now I'm going to be set up to move him. So the mechanics of this one are, you should have 2 ways of moving a victim. One for high heat and one for low heat. So if I have good conditions and I can just start dragging my victim out and I can stand up, I want to keep his head low at all times, so within 12 inches of the floor. And I want to drag him out keeping that head low. So I don't want to just get under him and EMS carry him out. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get under his knees and I'll work joints, right? All right. So I'm up underneath him. Now I have total control of his body, or a smaller moving train, so I can move through a house easier and around corners. And I've also reduced friction by getting a portion of his body up off the ground. And as I start to drag him, his arms should come up over his head and start protecting it as I'm coming out. My partner at this point can either guide me out or continue their search. So if I need some help and guidance, they can grab the back of my pack and start leading me towards the door. Now all I have to do is jump and start dragging. If we need to turn him, just get him up, start dragging. Now, if I cannot stand up due to conditions, I have to stay low. We have to have a drag for that as well. So in this case, I'm going to cross his legs, and I'm going to get him up on my knee. Okay? Wrap. Now when I go to turn, it's going to turn him on his side, reducing his profile a little bit and reducing friction as well. It'll allow him to bend around corners a little bit better. All right, now I'm using my big muscles to start to open him up. Obviously, the low drag is going to take more effort. It's more tiring to do. But sometimes we just don't have conditions that allow us to stand up. Troy, you want to hop up once? How about go on your belly once? So Troy was nice enough to present me with a victim that was already on their back, ideal for moving. If I need to move him to a position where I can start to drag him, all I need to do is do a cross face, get over the top of him, stand up, right? So we want our victims to be on their back so we can start our drag. We don't want to be dragging them face down. Big joint. So just a simple overview of what your body mechanics should look like. We're always looking to be athletic when we're inside. We want to stay aware of our conditions, so not having heads down. We want to be moving with a purpose. So those athletic stances, moving quickly, concise orders to our partner are all keys that will get our searches done quickly. Thank you.